What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Boot Podcast, episode number 53, and today we're breaking down the New York Giants' 13-10 loss over the New York Jets in the Metlife Bowl. This one's a rough one. This Giants team had this game. They had this game in their back pocket, and the game fell out of their pocket. This game should have been won by the New York Giants. They didn't play great offensively. They put up 10 points in 4 quarters. And this is a Jets team that, couldn't get much going. The Giants played a really good defensive game against Zach Wilson, against this Jets offense, and then just a few mistakes from this Giants team that lead to points. Graham Gano missed a few field goals, and we'll get into Graham Gano in a bit. This Giants team, there has been a few games that come right to mind that they should have won. The game against the Bills, regarding the Darren Waller holding, they should have scored in the red zone a few times, but they did not. The Bills shut them down there. In this Jets game, this is a game that definitely could have been won if they make the field goal at the end, or they just get the first down when it's 4th and 1. You have Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs in the league. Why not run the football? I mean, I see what Brian Dable's doing, and it's the right move. Kick a field goal, and essentially the game is over. And you have Graham Gano, who just hasn't been Graham Gano this year. Last year, he was on it. This guy was really good last year. He was amazing from 50 plus. He was automatic, right? This year, he's dealing with that knee injury, and it's not a good look. The Giants, they keep throwing him out there, and I think it's really just because Graham Gano just keeps wanting to play, and it's really hurting him because he's playing injured and he's missing kicks that he very well doesn't miss. 30-yard field goals. Those things should be 100% every time. And he's missing those. And he missed 2 of them in this Jets game that easily could have been made by any other kicker in this league. But Graham Gano, he is just not the Graham Gano that, we extended him to. The Giants extended Graham Gano to a 3-year deal, meaning he's, supposed to be the kicker for the next 3 years. But, if he's playing like this and, he could very well be cut by this New York Giants team, or they'll just sign a kicker just to play out the season, because I think it's probably in the best interest for Graham Gano to get surgery now so he's ready for next year, because a knee injury, especially to his kicking leg, is serious. That's a serious injury. A knee injury is nothing to joke about. And we're still sending Graham Gano out. And I don't know what happens, with the training staff and what the doctors say and, if he's good to go and this, but he's always active. He's always active. And that's the big key. He's always active, and they have no other, kicker on standby, really. And that's a problem, because he's injured. And you should not, if he's injured, he cannot play. Do not force, I don't think Dable's forcing him to play. It's just, let's just get a kicker in free agency. It's not going to cost you, $10 million to get a kicker. Just sign any kicker. I don't care, because the season's lost. They're 2-6 now, and this season has been garbage. This team going into this year was not supposed to be like this at all. And yes, they had a pretty cakewalk schedule last year to make the playoffs, win around, blah blah blah. But this year, they took a major step backwards, and it's rough. It's really rough, and this Giants team's got to figure it out. But we all know the playoffs are a long shot. They're not making the playoffs. Spoiler alert. And another thing is Tommy DeVito had to come in this game. Tyrod Taylor could not continue this game because he suffered a rib injury. He got released from the hospital, so that's good news. But he's week to week. Tyrod Taylor's week to week, so it looks like we're riding with Tommy DeVito now for next week. And not next week, but he's gonna be the backup because we just got news today that Daniel Jones is now cleared, which is very interesting because I thought I could have swore I saw a report that he wasn't gonna be ready until that Dallas game, and now he's back. So I'm not really sure how that all panned out, but Daniel Jones is back. That's cool because Daniel Jones is obviously a lot better than Tommy DeVito, but Daniel Jones has not been good this year. He's turned over the ball more than he's scored touchdowns. And the thing with Daniel Jones is his job is in jeopardy for sure. Because if, we go down the road and he doesn't show any sort of, improvement, I know he's coming off a neck injury, but still, if he doesn't show, signs of, maybe he could, somewhat turn around to end the season on a high note, his job is in jeopardy because the Giants are very well in contention for, a top pick in this draft, top 3. They currently hold the number 4 pick as of today. And you never know. They could really suck and be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. And, if you get Caleb Williams, that's a huge upgrade in my opinion. I mean, a lot is going on with this Giants team. But, Tyrod Taylor got the rib injury. We just said that. And another thing is that really with the QB, game yesterday, it was interesting that I didn't see much of throwing the football when Tommy DeVito came in. And I understand he's, a third string QB, doesn't get first team reps ever, doesn't get, the reps that Jones or Tyrod gets in the pregame or in practice. But Tommy DeVito cannot throw the football. He did not throw the football very much. And I know it's a close game, and Dable pretty much is telling DeVito, don't turn the ball over. Just do not turn the ball over. Hand the ball off to Barkley. That is your only job. That's what he did. Saquon Barkley rushed for 36 times, and he didn't even average 4 yards per carry. He was like 3.3, 3.4, somewhere in the threes. That's bad. That's really bad. And Saquon hasn't averaged at least 4 yards per carry since week 1 against Dallas. So that's another concern. And I mean, the offensive line isn't really helping him. I think his longest rush in that game against the Jets was 34 yards, something like that. And now let's get into Brian Dable. I think that's the main thing that everybody's looking forward to, is my thoughts on what Brian Dable did and, really just, pretty much just what Brian Dable did. And he kind of blew this game. He blew this game. He didn't kind of. He blew this game for the New York Giants. This is a game that was very easily winnable. Just like the game against Buffalo. Very winnable game. They don't win it. Very winnable game against this Jets team. And they don't win it. Brian Dable in 2022 was very aggressive. You look at it, week 1 of last year. They're playing the Tennessee Titans. They have a chance to tie the game, or they have a chance to go for 2. They go for 2 with Saquon Barkley, and he gets into the end zone. That Giants offensive line last year is not much different than what they are this year. They're both very bad. But Saquon Barkley gets in the end zone. The Giants need 1 yard. 1 yard to seal the game. The Jets, called their final timeout. They have no timeouts remaining. And we elect for the field goal, which is okay. But if you understand the situation, Graham Gano is hurt. Graham Gano is not 100% healthy. This is not a Graham Gano that is, gonna guarantee you this kick. He missed one earlier in the game, but we elect to go back to that and figure, oh, maybe, let's try it again. And no different result. Graham Gano misses the field goal. Shocker. And what do the Jets do? They go down the field and they tie the game up. And, now we go into overtime. Big situation for the Giants. If they win the toss, they got a chance to win the game immediately. But you also have to realize who's in at QB. That's Tommy DeVito. This is his first really NFL reps. Don't count the preseason. This is his first really NFL game. Yes, he had a rushing touchdown. Cool. But now he's in the biggest game of his career. And it's his first one as well. And he has to play in overtime. And this Giants team on offense didn't do really anything in that overtime. They practically just gave the ball to the Jets in hopes that their defense prevails and stops the Jets. And, the one time they don't and Adoree Jackson takes, defensive pass interference, the Jets go down and they hit their field goal to win the game 13-10. This is one of the worst losses probably this year, and it could definitely go down as the worst loss because this is a winnable game. Like, this game is so winnable, and they just lose. They lose time and time again, and it pisses me off. Brian Daboll isn't aggressive enough. He doesn't trust his QB. They don't throw the ball at all. You're telling me Tommy DeVito can't throw a slant route, a curl out, a drag to Jalen Hyatt, something? So now we just run it down their throats, and it's not even like our run game has been spectacular in this game. I mean, essentially, we just pray that the defense would, make the Jets go 3 and out every time. But then when we get the ball, it's not like we're doing anything. We're just giving it right back. And, the thing is with Tommy DeVito is they didn't obviously want him to turn the ball over. That was the big thing. So that's why all he was doing is just handing the ball off to Barkley. And that didn't work. Special teams was horrific. It's been horrific all year long. Like, I just don't understand. If Tommy DeVito, is your backup QB, and you don't trust him to throw or do anything, then why is he on the team? Why is he on the team if he doesn't know what the hell he's doing? There are many other QBs out there that you could definitely plug in to be a better backup than Tommy DeVito, who can't throw. You're a QB and you can't throw. But that doesn't matter because he didn't throw at all anyways. And when he did, the Giants got no, positive yards. I mean, it's annoying. It is really annoying. I mean, we look at this. We look at the game against the Bears from 2021. Mike Glennon threw, and this is the final stat line. Okay, Mike Glennon was 4 for 11, 24 yards, 2 interceptions, and averaging 2.2, average yards. We look at the game against the Jets now. Tyrod Taylor threw for 8 yards. Tommy DeVito threw for -1 yards. I mean, what the hell are we doing? -9 yards? Oh, and Mike Glennon finished with -6 yards, by the way. So, 2 games were negative passing yards. How does that even happen? How in the fuck does that happen? How do you throw? Like, I don't understand. You're an NFL player. You're an NFL QB. And you're throwing for negative passing yards. You're telling me there's nothing in this offense that you can do that gets them positive passing yards? Nothing? Not even a screen, even though the Giants are the worst, team on screens as well. I mean, it's like the Giants are just bad at everything. That's essentially what this Giants team is. The 2023 Giants failed. Whatever their expectation was this year, they failed. Whether it's just making the playoffs, whatever they did, they failed. And I'm pissed off because this team was supposed to give us hope this year and not shit the bed, essentially. They shit the bed. Brian Daboll has been bad this year, and I'm getting on Daboll. I've been a defendant for Brian Daboll a lot, but this year he has not been the same Brian Daboll he was in 2022. And yeah, they had a harder schedule. Deal with it. Okay? They're going to give you tough teams. It's not like you're just going to be playing, bad teams all year long like they did last year. And you beat up on the Bears, and you beat up on a bunch of other teams. Like, fix this. I need this team to be fixed next year. I need the offensive line to be fixed. I need someone who can throw the ball and read defenses much better. Whether that's Daniel Jones or they draft one. And I need some wide receivers that can get open. I mean, that's another thing. No wide receivers can open, really. They have Jalen Hyatt. They don't use him. They only use him for deep threat, and that's about it. They don't have him run drag routes or slant routes. Just a fade route. That's all you got to do, Hyatt. Go run a fade real quick and come off the field. That's it. Saquon Barkley is doing everything he can. He's getting injured because of overusage and everything. But, I mean, my goodness. This team is fucking pitiful. It is so bad to watch. Now we get to the Q&A. Let's calm myself down. Q&A time. Before we get to the Q&A, let's talk about the Leonard Williams trade. Completely forgot about that. Leonard Williams is heading to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for a 2024 second-round pick and a 2025 fifth-round pick. It's a good trade for the Giants. I mean, they had to get rid of Williams. It's, his contract and everything. It's a good trade in my opinion. You get a second rounder for it and the fifth, and you pretty much eat up his contract. Saquon Barkley, people have tried to trade for him. The Giants are saying no, we're not giving you away. That pretty much wraps that up. I don't know if they're going to make any more deals at the deadline, to be honest. Maybe you see Adoree Jackson leave. I kind of hope he does because he's been bad this year. But yeah, things have to get better. They have to draft well. They have to do a lot of things better. So we get to the questions now. Is one of the questions is it good or bad that Jones got cleared today? It's definitely good. I'm glad that he's cleared now, but another thing is we don't know what type of Daniel Jones we're going to get. And also another one is, how do the Giants start to get going in this midseason? There's really no get going. I mean, this team has really just hit rock bottom, and it's no way coming back. Another question we have is... Sorry. It is... Is it time to tank? This season is pretty much over. No reason to win. Time to build for the future and look forward to that. What do you think? Well, I definitely think tanking is a strong word, but pretty much this Giants team is tanking now. Essentially, they're looking to get a top pick in this draft and move on from that. This is a team that really needs to get going, and they need to draft well. We look at the league. We look at some of the players that get drafted and, immediate impact. For an example, the Bengals draft Joe Burrow. Look at the impact Joe Burrow has made at the QB position. We look at a guy like Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, all these guys. The Chiefs trade up to get Patrick Mahomes. Look how that has panned out. The Giants have to get either a QB or a difference maker on this team. They have to draft well. If they're going to be bad for these next 2 to 3 years because of just lack of talent, they got to hit on their draft picks. And if they do, it makes the process a lot easier for this rebuild and a lot faster to get themselves back in the playoffs. We don't know what the schedule is going to be like next year, but still, this team just lacks talent. And if they get more talent, whether it's in free agency or the draft, this team could be in a good direction, and they could really turn this thing around before it turns into even more of a disaster. I think that was the last question we have, or at least the question that I liked. It's just rough. To wrap this thing up, the defense has played great these last 3 weeks. They've held their team they held their opponents to 11.3 points, their opponents, but they're averaging as an offense 11 points. It's tough to watch this offense. And the thing is with Brian Daboll too is he, I feel like he wants to put in more stuff to this team and be more creative, but he just can't because this offense can't operate. This offensive line is bad. The QB situation has been a train wreck. The wide receivers aren't doing much. Darren Waller has a hamstring injury, so there goes a major target. Special teams isn't even putting up points. I think, honestly, Brian Daboll in these fourth down situations, he's just not as confident because of the team in front of him. So I think for Joe Schoen, he needs to get Brian Daboll a lot more talent, and they both have to have a lot of meetings of how they're going to make this team better. I think that's the big thing for this Giants squad. Thank you all for watching this podcast. This has been the Inside the Boot Podcast, episode 53. And, of course, hit that subscribe button. Road to 70 subscribers. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload these podcasts. It's been a rough year for these Giants. Of course, I'll still root for them every damn day of the week. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, and let's go Giants.